Hello and welcome. Today I will make you familiar with 5 deck lists that will get you to Legend. And first we'll start with a Control Balcry Shami, a new and really powerful creation. You want to mulligan mainly for the Fire Tree Witch Doctor and Underbelly Angler, but also against other control decks. If you want to get even more value, it's just better to save this kind of card, this Murloc, for the combination with Sludge Slurper in order to play even more Murlocs in the end. Then we've got Skyworm and Twilight Drake, but this is a little bit slower opening. At least Skyworm will allow you to trade into something right away, and Twilight Drake will be a really sticky, powerful minion that will be on board, and you can just start trading into opponent's stuff. Also, Haggadah Scheme, a must-have if you want to clear the board on turn 5 against the aggressive decks, especially because it requires upgrade over the time. And then in late game we still have two really powerful options, because Control Warrior is way weaker right now because they can't go for double Archivist Luciana. There we've got the advantage because we can use Shadowwalk just to get second Balcry out from Archivist and shuffle even more cards into our deck, and also at the same time just to create a huge board and get more bonuses out from Shadowwalk, even with the new legendary, which is Brightwing, and this will allow us to get even more value, which will be a bonus legendary. This decklist is a little bit similar to the previous one because we've got few core cards, like for example Underbelly Angler. Okay, it actually works in almost every single Shami deck, but this one is a little bit more like a mid-range oriented rather than control, but we still have Archivist as a little bonus during the fatigue. So you want to mulligan, for example, for the Blazing Invocation, Sludge Slurper, Evil Cable Rat, and also Underbelly definitely won't hurt, and of course against aggressive decks it's good to have a board key, which will be Lightning Storm. So what's the core of this deck and the whole game plan? We want to mainly focus on token generation with for example Thunderhead, then we can just overload ourselves and get even more sparks to then play the Stormbringer and transform all those things into legendaries. The other cool part of this whole deck is that we've got Mutate, and basically it's like a 0 mana evolve a card, which works really well with a former trump, because then you can change this 5-drop, which is a 1/1, and you already summoned a 5/5 into something bigger, better, which will be a 6-drop. So basically for the 5 mana cost you basically get 6-drop and the 5-drop, which is pretty good. And the same thing applies to Giggly Inventor. You can protect yourself and also on top of it transform the 7-drop, which will be 2/1, into something way better, and 8-drops most of the times. Those are good legendary class cards, but there is Heroic the Bat, which hurts a little bit because you will transform this into a 1/1 if you're unlucky. So basically this is how the whole deck works. Freeze Mage is back in a really interesting form because right now we've got Luna's Pocket Galaxy. At the 7 mana this card was unplayable, and right now more and more people started experimenting with it, and because right now we've got a lot of expensive minions, we can just make them cost 1 mana. And during the early game, most of the time you want to just focus on the card draw. That's why you want to keep Novice Engineer, Acolyte of Pain, and Arcane Intellect. But also on top of it, it's pretty okay to keep the Doomsayer against the aggressive decks. And also the other plan is that you will already have the board clear, which will be combination with of the Doomsayer with the Frost Nova to just, you know, completely obliterate the board on the following turn, or just any kind of different freeze effect, which will be Ray of Frost. Most of the times your opponent won't have like too many minions, so they will have only like 2 or 3 of them. This shouldn't be enough in order to kill the Doomsayer when you will freeze one of those minions. And then why do we have the Mountain Giant and like this whole weird package? Because it works more or less like a Khadgar Mage, but without the Khadgar. We still have Conjurer's Calling, and when you will play this on a Giant, you can just, you know, when you will draw more cards, you can play this for really cheap cost on like turn 4 and 5, and then your opponent is forced to trade into it, otherwise you will just summon even more of them. Control Warrior, also known as a Resident Sleeper. Okay, just kidding. Against the aggressive decks, you want to keep a Eternium Rover and also Warp Buff or Brawl in order to deal with their board. Town Crier is always a good keep because basically you will get additional card, you will thin your deck, and then also improve the odds of getting Dr. Boom, Genius, Azalina, or Archivist. I managed to find Azalina super useful in this kind of deck because right now when we do not have the combo with the Baleful Banker and we can't really rely on getting coin, it's really helpful because if you will play the mirror matchup or just you will face any other control deck, imagine that you will steal the Shatter Walk with the Archivist from your opponent. This will be sick, and then you will get even bigger odds of winning the Fatigue. And the other staff is pretty common because basically you've got a lot of removal and armor gain combo with Weapons Project plus Hearthstone in order to get additional card draw and gain weapon plus armor. All this super useful, and it's a really good keep against Hunter, mostly against the Mech Hunter or for example like Mech Paladin, because you will be able to just destroy their mech without, like, you know, sacrificing too much stuff against it. And also then as a little bonus, we still have Omega Devastator and just like mechs in general, Dynamatic, plus also Super Collider in order to like trade 2 minions for 1. Pogo deck is finally playable, mainly because of the buff on the Pogo. Right now it costs only 1 mana, and we've got bonus synergy with Witchwood Piper. It's just way more consistent to get this out from your deck. Keep in mind that during the early game you do not really want to focus as that much on shuffling your Pogos, because you make this deck way less consistent. You want to first draw a lot of cards, thin your deck as much as possible, and then start shuffling. Here we've got a lot of combo effects and bulk rise. That's why Spirit of the Shark works perfectly, because it will just double the whole value from your deck and you will create even bigger Pogos in the end. And also you want to keep Evil Miscreant and Backstep works, you know, just something to combo this out. And then we've got still few tools to heal ourselves, or just, you know, like some sort of counter play, because rogues most of the times just struggle against the aggressive decks, and especially this one. So like the whole meta right now, it's divided. Half of it, those are control decks, and the other half, those are aggressive decks. And against control decks you should have pretty easy game, and against aggro it will be a really hard time. So that's why we also have Mind Control tag in order to gain control of the opponent minion, and also Life Drinker to gain a little bit of healing. Zilliax with Pogo Hopper, yes, this is also a different way to make a comeback with a really huge burst of healing. And as a small bonus we've got Mojo Master in order just to, you know, steal a little bit mana from our opponent. Sometimes this might save your life, or just you will gain a few more turns. And Toggle Woggle because we already have Lucky Generator, and this way we can just get even more value. I really like this card. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next. Soon I will drop the card review video, and also I think about changing the formula completely. For example, stream for like 1 hour and do not edit this, just let it be on YouTube and let people see you know, a natural behavior without editing and post-production. So let me know what you think about this, and see you in next videos. Goodbye.